Sweety Pie, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing something that is totally not new, and you're gonna find that in maybe a few more of my reviews that the things that I'm reviewing are not new, but they are things that I have purchased in the last, well, this one's been like a month and a half, but I really wanted to give this palette a chance to shine for me. I know that there's probably a couple shades that I haven't tried yet, but I do have a pretty good grasp on it, and I wanted to just share it with you guys, share my feelings about it. You know, I wasn't planning on doing like a full review because I wasn't sure if anybody would even care, but I was like, you know what, stop being a nervous Nelly and just make a review. So I am going to show you swatches, and I'm going to compare this to the Jaclyn Hill palette. Oh yes, I haven't even shown you the palette. This is the Crown Brushes 35 OMG. Now I'm sure you're like, what? Because it looks exactly like the Jaclyn Hill palette. Now, I do not have the Jaclyn Hill palette. I never purchased it. I have never made a purchase off of Morphe. I have a couple of their products, but I don't have anything that's really worth talking about. I think I have a sponge from them, some stuff that I bought from Showcase in the past, which is it's a store that you can purchase from in Canada where it has oh, I should stop doing the jiggle. It has a lot of as seen on TV products and stuff like that. So anyways, let's get on to this palette. I am going to show you guys swatches, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information, show you a couple of looks that I created with it, and just talk about it in general. So if you guys are interested in that, then stay tuned, and always, if you are new, subscribe to my channel. I am an up-and-coming YouTuber, and I have I think 89 videos that you guys can watch, and yeah, I will leave some videos at the end of this video. If you're interested, click away. You might want to just get down there. There's a little button there, and you can subscribe, and also you can like this video. That would be so awesome. Anyway, if you guys are interested in this palette, let's get on with it. So the first thing that I wanted to say about this palette is that I bought it at Showcase, and what am I doing? I am going to just take my handy dandy notebook, and if you guys do not know, I carry around a handy dandy notebook, and I make sure that when I do these reviews, I pick up some information for you guys, and make sure you get the lowdown. Alright, so let's just read off my handy dandy notebook. So I bought this from Showcase for $39.99 Canadian, and it comes with 35 shades. There's 70 grams in total in the palette, and they are 2 grams a piece, which is pretty darn good for eyeshadows. These eyeshadows contain talc and mica, dimethicone if you do not like dimethicone. There is dimethicone in these shadows, as well as mineral oil. They have a 24-month shelf life, and they are made in China. There is 17 mattes and 18 shimmers in this palette. You can purchase this palette from crown.com. I will have it linked down below. It is $19.99 US. Shipping seems a little bit odd. I don't they have a kind of a crappy return policy. You have to pay for shipping. So if you are in Canada and you can find it at a Showcase, that might actually be a better thing, and you can also swatch it there as well. So keep that in mind. So that's exactly all the information I really have on this palette. Let's get into swatches of these. say they do swatch beautifully, but they also go on the eye really nicely. I have never used the Jaclyn Hill palette, but I will say for these mattes and shimmers, these blend so beautifully into the eyes. I was flabbergasted by how good this palette was. And you know, for so cheap, I think this is cheaper than the Jaclyn Hill palette, so if you loved her setup and you still haven't got that palette, this might be one for you. Also, I think that the packaging is pretty darn good for the palette. So you get 70 grams in here of product, and the packaging is your like standard cardboard. I like cardboard. I just reviewed the Makeup Revolution and Emily Edit, which is right here, and really and honestly I do prefer the cardboard packaging just because I feel like it's a little more recyclable. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but either way. Also, when I received it from Showcase, it did also come in a box, and it has the shades on the back. No, there are no shade names for this palette at all. This is just like a generic, like a Morphe generic palette. And if I'm not mistaken, Stephanie Nicole did a whole video about how they either used to be or still are attached to Crown Brushes, because Crown Brushes does do, they do private labeling. But I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just going to get into the looks that I created with this palette, and yeah, we'll go through the shades and kind of do all that jazz. Oh my goodness, the magic of YouTube. I'm sorry guys, I had to like leave for a few seconds because I was like, oh my god, I haven't eaten all day and it's like 4 o'clock, and I started to feel a little woozy, and I was like, I can't finish this video, I have to go get something to eat. I actually had like rigatoni noodles, like the fat noodles, with chicken and broccoli and some eggplant. Oh, it was so good. Anyways, back to the OMG palette. I wanted to just say like a few of the looks that I did, and I will show you guys some looks right now. I was so in love with this palette. So this look right here, that was probably the most beautiful blending I've ever freaking seen. And I did it using a lot of these like orangier tones. I do think that you really did not need this many. Like honestly, when you hold up this palette, like all of these are virtually the same color. This one is my favorite one because it's so warm and orangey, but like as you go down the line, it just gets, you know, more of the same thing. Another color that I really love is this one right here. It is the most beautiful, let's see if I can get a it is so pretty. It's like a berry burgundy, really rich in pigment. Oh, like all of these are very nice. These are some very nice shadows for the price, and I really would actually love to try the Jaclyn Hill palette to see what the difference is. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put right down here the difference in formula to the Jaclyn Hill palette and this one, and see if there's like too many differences. But anyway, there is also this look that I created. And I used some of the more like barrier tones, and I actually ended up taking this purple and working it into the outer V. I'm just like taking a look at it now, and that actually worked really well. There's so many neutral tones in here. Like honestly, if you cover this up, this is a very beautiful neutral bronzy palette. Now, did I need this? Like a hole in the head, but I was really happy to experience this, and I definitely think that this will be staying in my collection for a while, like past declutters. Actually, that's something that I wanted to talk about. Okay, I do live in Canada, and I would like to know, where are you able to sell your gently used palettes? I have so many gently used palettes that I have pretty much given up selling because I just don't know where to do that in Canada. I have tried making like an Etsy, or not an Etsy, what is it called? I'll put the name of it right here. I've made an account for there and I've put them up on sale and I never got any hits at all. So if you have any comments as to where I can sell my palettes and then I can actually purchase some newer palettes and bring them to my collection, then tell me in the bottom, because I feel like I spent so much money on them. I'm either going to sell them or I'm going to keep them. I think that's the end result here. But anyway, I think this one will definitely be out of the declutters. Another color that I wanted to mention that is so freaking gorgeous is this one right here. This is such an interesting shade because it's like a shimmery taupe. Like, and I always, I was like, oh, that's not that interesting. But when it's on the eyes, it makes for the most beautiful pop. And I remember Jaclyn talking about it in her video. So, I don't know. I haven't really, I have never held a Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, so I don't know exactly what it looks like. But this is an awesome palette. And if you were looking for that palette and you didn't want to buy from Morphe or you didn't want to support Jaclyn or whatever, this, I think, would make a pretty darn good dupe. I'm just going to throw you up. I think there's like a couple other looks that I created with this that I can just show you some pictures of. So yeah, I love this palette. I think it's very beautiful. I think that the shades are a little bit redundant, but if you like warm neutrals, you're going to love this. Like, this is right up your alley. The shimmers, I think that they work like... I'm trying to think back if I had any trouble at all with the shimmers. Now, I'm a bad person for this because with shimmers, I feel like most of the time you have to wet them. And I did get some of these shimmers to look pretty without wetting them, but every time I put a shimmer on my eyes and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty, I always want to go back in and wet the shimmer just to see what it will do. So I'm a bad person for that. They were okay without any liquid or sticky primer or anything like that, but I would just say use a sticky primer. Go spend, your money on the NYX glitter glue, or I really want a mixing medium for some of my eyeshadows. I think that would be so beautiful. Have you ever seen those Pat McGrath videos on Instagram where she's putting the shimmer all over the eye with some kind of liquid? Oh, so freaking pretty. Look at, can you see that? It's got this holographic on the inside, which is really cute as well. There is a mirror, but obviously there's no way to keep it up, and the mirror's okay. It's not a bad mirror by any means. It's just not the centerpiece of this palette for sure. Anyways, I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I feel kind of odd because I left in the middle of this and I'm like, where was I? But I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. I have had this palette for a month now. I'm sure there's a couple shades that I didn't fully use to the most of my ability, because there is a crap ton of shades in here. You could go for days and months and years creating different combos in this palette. And I'm pretty sure it was cheaper than the Jaclyn Hill palette. I will check that to find out. But anyway, guys, I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys, enjoyed this little impromptu. It wasn't a first impression, but I'm sure I could use this palette a little more, and I'm going to put this palette in a update for you guys. I do my palette recaps. I was thinking about doing one tonight, but I don't know how good the lighting would be in here, so I may just skip it and do 3 videos this week, because I have a couple on back that are waiting to be uploaded. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys had a wonderful time at my channel. I hope those swatches were freaking amazing. I know they are because I've swatched this palette. I did actually do some Instagram swatches, some creative swatches on that palette when I was at my grandma's last, and I will be posting those up on my Instagram very soon. Actually, they'll probably be already up. Go check it out. It's in the description. Also, I love you guys, and I hope you guys subscribe if you're new. Hey, here's my channel. Hope you guys love me. I also have a video on the first time this is the first time I've tried that cloud look. I want to try it again. I did use the, I used the OMG palette, and I also used the Makeup Revolution palette by Emily Noel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I feel like sometimes my like my outros can be so long because I just don't know how to say goodbye. I had always been bad with that on the phone too. But yeah, I am going to cut this off. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.